If you haven't played Outer Wilds, please, I'm begging you, please go play it instead of watching this video. It's an amazing game that you really can only play once, and it's 100% worth playing completely blind, cause yeah, major spoilers ahead, get out. Anyways, for those who have played it, have you ever tried going to every single planet in the same loop? It's pretty easy. Your ship is powerful enough that you can just go anywhere pretty easily and fast. But what if you couldn't use the ship? What if your only means of moving in space was your spacesuit jetpack? Suddenly, even escaping a planet's gravitational force becomes a tiny challenge. Your spacesuit is, I think, 10 times weaker than the ship, so you're very subject to gravity at all times. It also has limited oxygen and fuel, so you can't just be pressing forwards all the time, and you also have to refuel often. To save fuel, you'll see us launching the scout backwards repeatedly, because we need all the momentum we can get. Adding to this ordeal a trip to the Interloper and the Stranger, and also the stations, you got yourself a pretty good challenge. To beat it, you need to devise a good route, know about orbital mechanics, and have a semi-precise execution. Welcome to all planets, stations, plus Interloper plus Stranger in one loop, SHIPLESS. I'm presenting it in a live commentary way, I think that's the best way, so let's watch it. Okay, so here we are in the actual run with the person who actually ran this, which is my brother.
Hello everyone.
So yeah, first thing we have to do, we are going to the ship just to get the suit, obviously. We are not gonna pilot the ship because that's against the rules. And one thing important to mention at the start of this run is that like we were attempting this challenge back to back, so we would technically at the start of the run go to the ship log and mark the Stranger, otherwise we wouldn't be able to find it, but since it's already marked we didn't do that.
Yeah, so starting on my thought process for the run, there are several ways to leave Timber Earth. Escaping the gravity is not that bad as in other planets, but the geyser method is the one that I chose because it's very consistent.
Yeah.
And because it allows us to consistently reach the hourglass twins without minimum input. As you can see, the next minutes I will literally not touch the thrusters.
Yeah, this is the part where you actually like drink water or something.
Yeah, the part where you adjust the chair and get comfortable.
Orbital mechanics will do the rest, and it's you'll see why we reduced the gamma, why it was so high in the first place later in the run.
Yeah, so here I literally don't have to do anything because I would touch Ash Twin very gently, but in the interest of saving some seconds, I'll probably just... I remember I deviate a little bit from the orbit to go directly to Ember Twin, so... As you can see, we're very slow and just going over to Ember Twin. Our goal is just to sleep a little bit because we gotta wait for the next stop to be possible, which is the sun station. And the sand doesn't allow us to do that yet.
So yeah, the tower at this point in the run is still submerged, so we gotta wait a little bit. So we're going to short to refuel and to sleep a little bit.
Yeah, so the sun station is one of the limiting factors because it disappears so soon and because it takes quite a few minutes to actually open up. So the interval in which we can do it is very tight.
Yeah, and we want to get there when the sand is still there, so we can actually do the cactus parkour without actually doing the parkour because it's super hard and inconsistent.
Yeah, we don't want to have skill checks. We want this to be...
as consistent as possible.
Yeah. We want the average player who finished the game to be able to attempt this challenge and not be impossibly hard.
I feel like we're just goofing around and trying stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the fun because you cannot play the game again.
Yeah.
So this is one way to actually keep the magic alive and just be around in the solar system, but with a purpose.
Okay. We touched Ember Twin. Now we're touching Ash Twin, and yeah, now we're
just waiting for the passage. As you can see, like the time at which we get to the warp platform, the sun actually just barely missed the alignment.
So we have to wait it to...
Yeah, we have to wait a full rotation. We tried actually being faster and banging the head against the ceiling and using the thrusters, but it isn't possible, I don't think, to actually get to the warp platform one loop earlier. So we gotta wait for this rotation. This is another dead part in the run.
Yeah, this first part of the run where we sleep and we wait is like the most loose part of the run. Things get more interesting later.
Yeah, because then we actually get tight on time and we just gotta keep always moving.
We actually get tight. It's crazy.
Okay. So here...
Sun station, done.
We consider being on this... like, generally, the interesting part of the sun station is the other side. But we consider this as being on the sun station.
Yeah.
So we now just go on to our next target, which is Brittle Hollow.
We use the fact that we are in orbit around the sun to use that speed to go to Brittle Hollow.
Yeah, we just need to increase the speed because orbital mechanics make it so whenever you increase the speed
Wait, when you go faster, the radius of the orbit...
the radius increases, so you increase the speed perpendicular to the gravity that's pulling you. And we really gotta accelerate towards Brittle Hollow.
Because we have no time to spare.
We have no time to spare, because the next stop after Brittle Hollow is the Stranger. And it starts moving away from the solar system quite early. And so the sooner we get there, the less distance we have to travel back when it's already far away.
So if you're wondering why we aren't slowing down, you'll see. We gotta thread the needle and loop around the black hole. That's the easiest way to slow down. You can see
that we're quite fast, but the atmosphere of Brittle Hollow actually slows us down enough. And a good perk is that we just land so nicely here at Rivek's camping spot.
And we refuel, which is very important, get the rest of the oxygen, and we just jump over to the black hole, and instantly we go to the white hole station. We have to step on it for it to actually count, so that's what we're doing.
Yeah, the white hole station is not the thing that is important here. Oh, I here did an oopsie, but it's not a big mistake. The important thing is the interloper because it's another hard piece to fit in the puzzle because
and it's just passing by here.
Yeah, it's very it is a very nice way to go to the interloper. I tried to save as much fuel because the next trip to the Stranger we don't use any refuel and it's actually far away. So I'll just use the scout to slow down and direct myself into it. But yeah, the interloper is a interesting one because it dies 4 minutes before you actually or 3 minutes before the end of the run, the loop. So here I just hope I don't take that. Yeah. Okay.
Nice. Interloper done. So now we go to the Stranger, and the objective right now is to stop the momentum, so we aren't in orbit anymore, and the sun starts pulling us.
Because we want to. The Stranger is fixed in the sky, and on the solar system, you actually maintain your orbit by always moving in a direction. So by being on the interloper, we actually assumed its velocity to be near it. So we now gotta be actually standing still so the sun actually can pull us towards it, because we're gonna need to go to the other side of the sun. That is where the Stranger is.
So you would think that we would start to go up right now to the Stranger, but what would happen if we did that is the sun would just pull us down.
So the idea is to actually go below and very close to the sun, so the sun actually pulls us towards it and we actually start climbing up, and that is exactly what we're doing. We're just building velocity to try to reach it as fast as we can.
And it's the setup is slightly precise, because if you go too close to the sun you just get flung off to way too high, and if you go too low you just won't get pulled as much.
Yeah, you can see how fast we're going. It is quite fast. This was not a perfect run at all, but it was the first one where we were recording, and so we just called it done.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty good. There's like there's a little bit of room for error, so...
Yeah. You can see that the sun is now pulling us...
Yeah, our speed is we're going down, but like the sun is now pulling us up, so you'll see that arrow slightly decrease over time.
And I try to use as many scouts as possible because I'm running a little bit low on the fuel, and so the scout allows us to actually gain momentum backwards by shooting it forwards. So I just periodically check how I'm... Yeah, you can see that the sun pulled us up. So I just look at it, turn away, and use the scouts to propulse myself into the right direction.
Which is a little bit tricky.
You need some spatial awareness to do it right. But yeah, you'll get used to it.
So yeah, we're now slightly adjusting our
the stranger luckily slows us down, so the extra velocity is totally gone. And now we're gonna enter the stranger. First, we gotta actually be able to see.
Yeah, so
because we're not gonna enter through the main entrance. We will actually enter to the third area entrance, the lab.
Yeah, because that's where the closest fuel source is.
Yeah, we found that entering and leaving through this place with fuel refuel was actually the fastest that we tested.
Instead of just going back, because that would be slower because we wouldn't have fuel.
The fuel on the Stranger is on the areas where they burn the slide reels. Or on that monument, the burned one. That's also where one fuel can is. So now we just gotta wait for we gotta move over to where the slide burning reel of the third, which is in this building. We're gonna send the gondola down so we can actually use the hole and jump to it directly. Here I goofed up and ended up falling anyways, but you can actually, if I don't forget to recall my launch, my scouts, you can actually go over there like this, and the dam just exploded, which is a bad sign. It means we're like 10 or to 20 seconds behind schedule, because generally on the other runs I am able to cross this bridge to call this elevator before it explodes. But yeah, it's no biggie. 20 seconds, you can really catch that up by just going a little bit faster towards the journey back.
So yeah, Stranger done, fuel replenished, and oxygen too.
So now the last planets we need are Giant Steep and Dark Bramble.
Yeah.
And so there is a difficulty about Giant Steep, which is it has such an enormous gravity that exiting is not possible unless you use the tornadoes.
So yeah,
but they are not really reliable in pointing towards where you want them.
So the goal is that will be our last stop.
Yeah, the destination. So we gotta go to Dark Bramble, which at this point is on the other side of the solar system. And entering it is also not easy, especially if we're gonna be going very fast. So we need a way to slow down, preferably using a planet's atmosphere. And because we're really going to be super fast, we're gonna choose the one that has the most holes, that allows us to actually not just do a flyby, but go straight through it and try to cross as much atmosphere as possible.
And actually also refuel.
And also use the black hole again. So that's Brittle Hollow, because the black hole is gonna allow us to go the other side to the Interloper, to the White Hole Station.
Yes.
And both Giant Steep and Dark Bramble are gonna be crossing that in a few minutes. So we're actually gonna be
We have to go
in
fast.
time. Yeah, we gotta really go fast. The going from the sun station to Brittle Hollow was about 30 meters per second.
300.
300, yeah.
Yeah, 250.
But as you can see, we're approaching 400 here, and the goal is to hit the planet at 500 meters per second. More than that, it is really hard to dodge or move away. But yeah, let's see if there's the hole. Okay, I can see that. You can see that ravine or whatever you want to call it. I'm just aligning, and we're gonna hope that on the other side there's a hole.
So we don't bump our head.
Yeah, so we don't bump our head. But at this late in the run, it's pretty hole. There are a lot of holes. Ooh.
That's it, okay? And no rock above our head, so we will leave. This is a little bit of RNG in the run. We have to get a little bit lucky here. So we're going back to Reback now.
Yeah, so it is just here. We go here because of the fuel. It's the last place we're ever gonna get fuel on this run. So we just grab the fuel, grab the oxygen, and go straight into the black hole.
So that was like the final skill check. The rest of the run is a little bit easier.
Yeah, it is easy.
We have more time now.
You can see that the two planets are making their way here. On previous runs, we tried to go to the Interloper at this stage, but actually they are crossing like Dark Bramble and then Giant Steep, and these have very strong gravitational pulls, which makes it harder to navigate and actually land there safely. So by moving the Interloper earlier, okay, we're really going too fast on to Dark Bramble. We're gonna have to slow it down. Dark Bramble has a small problem, which is very misleading because it's so big. You misjudge the scale of the planet. You think you're going slow, but then you are actually going so fast. As you can see here, I totally misjudged it. And yeah, sometimes I hit the ground too hard. But now, after some practice runs, I actually know already what I'm doing. But here I must have... I don't know, I was distracted by the whole Brittle Hollow situation. It actually is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're really trying to go gently into this one. As you can see, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but a little bit harder than this, and I would probably have taken them.
Yeah, so that's Brittle Hollow. Everything that's left is Giant Steep.
Yeah. So this was Dark Bramble, and we're just now gonna go to Giant Steep, which is really easy because it pulls you in. You don't take damage because of the water unless you're unlucky and you land on an island.
So that's
which already happened, but it is very uncommon, so I don't even consider it... I consider the run like done at this point because there really is no way to miss this giant.
Yeah, it will just pull you no matter what. You just get a little closer to it.
Yeah,
it
so
just pulls you.
One thing I am doing though is because I want to step on an island to actually put my feet on something instead of just water. So I'm gonna go slightly onto the sides so I cover more ground and actually see where the islands are.
Which is technically not necessary. I think our rule set is like standing on a surface, and I guess water counts. And because, yeah, this counts as being in Giant Steep. But just in case you don't consider that, we're doing this since we had time.
Yeah, and as you can see, we did quite travel a lot before seeing any islands. And it's really unlucky because the movement of the island seems non-deterministic, or at least very dependent on the time and location where you enter Giant Steep. And they can actually run away from you because they are very fast on water. This one was gentle enough to let us go to shore.
And that's Giant Steep.
So
everything is done right now, and we still have some time to spare.
More time, yeah. And time should be starting anytime now.
So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. If you like Outer Wilds, don't subscribe to this channel because, you know, this channel is just for me to post whatever I want, and yeah, so don't expect it. We are maybe gonna do up this challenge a little bit. I think there's some. We
Yeah.
can include some other places to travel.
I can definitely see that happening, especially because I sleep in the beginning and I have this dead time where End Times is playing. I can probably shave it by trying some new routes.
Yeah. And so yeah, what we could add is like the moons. So
Yeah, the moons. So the first moon, the real problem would be the quantum moon because it's really non-deterministic
yeah,
in the orbit that it does, in the planet that it chooses. So it is hard to do it consistently, but I guess it may be possible. Let's see.
yeah. I think we would have to reroute everything because I think right now there's no like good place to sleep it in. So,
I can
yeah.
see the first, like, leaving before sleeping on the Ember Twin, we could pass through the Adel Rock, but
Yeah.
that's about it. I'm not seeing how we could go to the others.
Anyways, that was it. I hope you enjoyed it. So yeah, subscribe if you wanna see if we do this again. But yeah, bye bye.
See ya.